TJ Watt for a third-round pick? Sounds like a joke, but that's exactly what's making waves behind the scenes in the NFL, and we're not talking about random sources. It's coming from people who actually know what's going on. Hey, Steelers fans, if this is really happening, the future of the league's most feared defense could be about to change dramatically. And if you think that bombshell was the end of it, think again. There are fans out there who believe a miracle is going to happen in the draft and that the next great QB will fall right into Pittsburgh's lap at pick 21. So, is the franchise's future actually being taken seriously? Stick around because you won't want to miss a single detail of these two stories shaking up the scene in Pittsburgh. Go ahead and hit that like button because this video is unmissable. Alright, buckle up for this one because the idea of TJ Watt being on the trade block is the kind of NFL rumor that makes you do a double take and say, wait, what? But yep, according to Steve Palazzolo from the Check the Mic podcast, formerly of PFF, the Steelers could be quietly listening to offers for their all-pro wrecking ball. And here's the kicker, the return might only be a third-round pick. Now, before Steelers Nation riots, let's take a step back. Watt's still a beast, no doubt, but he's also 31 this season and creeping toward the twilight of his career. Pittsburgh reportedly wouldn't ship him to another AFC team, because duh, but there are a few NFC squads that could justify tossing a third-rounder into the ring for a shot at one of the league's most feared pass rushers. Let's start with Washington. Jaden Daniels just turned heads in a big way, leading the Commanders from a 4-13 mess all the way to the NFC title game. With Dan Quinn running the show and a young QB on a rookie deal, this is the time to go all in. Watt would instantly be their top pass rusher and might just be the missing piece to push them over the top. Then there's Philly. Remember when the Eagles were sniffing around Myles Garrett before he signed long-term with Cleveland? Yeah, they're not afraid to go big. Howie Roseman already built a Super Bowl-winning juggernaut, but he knows you can never have too many dogs in the trenches. Throw Watt onto that D-line, and you're basically sending quarterbacks straight into therapy. Now, the Panthers might not scream contender, but hear this out, Bryce Young finally started showing flashes, yet Carolina kept losing because their defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. They've patched things up a bit this offseason, but adding Watt could transform their unit overnight. And in a wide-open NFC South, that could be enough to sneak into January. Last up, the Saints. They're still hanging around the we want to win now crowd, even if they didn't make any wild off-season moves. Derek Carr is back under center, and new head coach Kellen Moore is hoping to light a spark. Chase Young's solid, but Cam Jordan ain't the same guy anymore. Slide Watt into that mix, and suddenly you've got a pass rush that could wreak havoc weekly. So yeah, the idea of TJ Watt getting moved sounds nuts on the surface, but if the price is really a third-rounder, these NFC squads might want to make some calls. So tell me, Steelers fans, would you trade TJ Watt for a third-round pick? Drop a comment, I want to know if you'd buy into that idea. But hang tight because now we're diving into something that might be even more frustrating. The quarterback situation in Pittsburgh is way murkier than it seems. Steelers Nation, we need to have an honest talk, because a lot of people are seriously fooling themselves into thinking that one of the top QBs in the 2025 draft is going to miraculously fall into Pittsburgh's lap at pick 21. Like, seriously, it's time to put down the glass of hope and take a sober look at what's actually happening. Everyone knows there's still a giant hole at the quarterback position in Pittsburgh. Even if Aaron Rodgers supposedly arrives for one last ride in black and gold, that's a band-aid, not surgery. He might lead the team for a year, maybe two, but the search for that franchise QB, the guy to lead the next era, is still wide open. And that's where the self-deception begins. A lot of fans are daydreaming about Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart falling to pick 21, but Mark Kaboly, an insider who doesn't sugarcoat things, poured cold water on that fantasy. The top three quarterbacks will be long gone before the Steelers are on the clock, and he's not wrong. With half the league hunting for QBs and this draft class not exactly bursting with generational talent, thinking a top guy will fall without trading up is pure fantasy. Cam Ward will probably be the first QB off the board. Sanders? He's already the darling of several GM offices starving for talent. Dart might be the most reachable, but even he's drawing serious attention from teams drafting earlier. And if he's still there, there's still debate over whether he's worth a first-round pick or just benefiting from a weaker draft class. The comparisons to mid-level QBs of the past are making some fans hesitant. In the end, it's the classic dilemma. Go all in now and risk missing on a QB, or play it safe, fill other needs, and push that decision to 2026 when the class might be stronger. But sitting back and hoping for a miracle at pick 21? According to Kaboli, in reality, that's just not going to happen. Rodgers might be the bridge, but the road to the future is still filled with uncertainty. And if Pittsburgh really wants to find the next big name under center, they'll need to move up the board or keep gambling on veterans until luck finally turns. Look, if all this is really on the Steelers' radar, the fans have every right to be concerned. Letting go of TJ Watt for a third-rounder feels like an insult to the intelligence of the fan base. And betting that a franchise QB will magically fall to pick 21 in the draft? That's living in a fantasy world. The truth is harsh. If they really want to win, they'll need to make bold decisions both to move up in the draft and to value the guys who can still deliver on the field. So if you want to stay in the loop on every twist of this black and gold soap opera, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell, because around here we don't sugarcoat it. We bring the truth.